All right. Hi, Art Survey. How are we doing? Last week we talked about kind of finishing up your person, your Giacommeti style sculpture. You've put him, hopefully, you've put him into a position that he is doing something. Perhaps you added some props. You can see mine is sitting cross-legged playing the ukulele. So now we need to figure out some kind of base for this. And there's lots of different ways you can do this. If you have a piece of scrap wood, you could go ahead and just use that as your base. If you have cardstock or cardboard, I'm going to show you a really easy way to make sort of box type base for your sculpture now. And I'm using corrugated cardboard. It actually sort of works better with like a poster board if you aren't doing something super big, just because it's easier to cut, but it's very easy to do the type of base that I'm going to show you today. Conversely, if you had anything that you could paint, like this is a sanding block that's used when I just happen to have it out because I'm painting so many ukuleles right now. You could even, use this as a base technically if it was big enough. So I'm going to show you a way to make a base today. Again, like I said, I'm using corrugated cardboard. You don't have to use corrugated cardboard. You could just use like a thick cardstock. You could use, I wouldn't use just regular paper. You're not going to have enough stability there. Or the cardboard that's not corrugated, like a chipboard, that would work too. Like one of those clothes boxes that you get for Christmas or whatever. Whatever works. So I have cardboard available, so that's what I'm gonna use. First thing you want to do with a nice flat piece of cardboard is determine the shape and size of your base. So here, I'm going to kind of draw out the shape that I want, and I actually kind of want it to be rounded. So I'm gonna draw here, and I want it to, there's something I can trace. Let me see here. I have so many random things around here, but I never have the actual tools that I want. So let's see. Trace this. It's a lampshade, because that's what I have available. It's such a weird room. It's not fully organized yet. So what I need to do is I need to cut this now twice. So I need a top and I need a bottom. So I'm gonna kind of make sure I know where I'm cutting here. So this is the shape that my base is gonna be. It's gonna be sitting like that, okay? So I'm gonna cut this, and because I'm using corrugated cardboard, I'm gonna use a blade. You can cut with scissors. It's not gonna hurt anything. Whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay, now that I've got my two big pieces cut out, I'm going to do the edge that's going to make the depth of this base out of another piece of cardboard. Now, I'm kind of fortunate. The only other piece of cardboard I have has these little ridges in it, which is going to work out to my benefit. You can see they're kind of like little cutouts, because that's going to allow my cardboard to bend a little bit easier. But I will pretend that they're not there in case you are doing a curve, so you can see how to navigate that. Okay, so the first thing I have to decide is how thick I want my base to be. And I've decided that I want it to be about 1 inch. Okay, so it might end up being a little bit more than that because of the width of the cardboard. But I'm just going to mark 1 inch of thickness along this piece here. And I'm going to draw that line nice and dark. So then I can go in and cut it. I'm just going to use scissors this time. Okay, so now I'm going to measure out where I want. What I really want to do is I'm going to use this cardboard here, and I'm going to tape it to the top. And when I get to this curve, I need to make little relief cuts. So you can see there already are some cuts. I'm not going to cut all the way through this cardboard. I'm only cutting through the very top layer. So if you have corrugated cardboard, this is really easy to tell when you're cutting too deep. But all I'm doing, you see how that sort of splits that top layer so that I can bend it and it'll be a nice curve. If you're using like a chipboard, you only want to cut about halfway through, or a poster board, you probably don't even have to cut chipboard or poster board. But with regular corrugated cardboard, it's not a bad idea to try to score that, is what that's called. Like I said, chipboard, poster board, you probably don't need to do that. So I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm going to put about 1/3 of the masking tape on this strip. So I want 2/3 hanging off the end. Okay, you can see the other side of that. That's about how much is there. And I'm also going to take my scissors, and right about where that curve is going to be, I'm going to cut little relief marks in my tape. This will allow the tape to overlap itself so that it doesn't get all crusty and like crumbly on there. It'll allow it to lay nice and flat. Okay, so now I'm going to take this edge right here and I'm going to lay my shape onto that edge and fold the tape over the top of my shape. Trying really hard to keep it right at that edge. You can see I'm following the contour of that cardboard that I cut out. Okay, folding these over each other so that I get a nice, flat, stable base there. I'm gonna cut this off. If you're doing a square base, always cut at your corners. Don't try to fold your rim, I guess is the word I would use. Don't try to fold that at the corners because it will never be as strong of a corner as you need it to be. Always cut it. You'll get a nice crisp corner that way. And now I just need enough for this little section right here. So put some tape on that. Again, about 1/3 on, 2/3 off. I'm gonna line up this edge here. Sorry, I know that it's hard to see because I work really close to myself. I'm gonna line up that edge there. Again, using that other edge as sort of a shelf. And I'm just going to wrap it around there and cut it. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's in there. Fold it around. And then I'll take small pieces of tape and tape those corners together. So that's the easy half, okay? The second half is harder because you have to really rely on the strength of this for you to be able to push your tape down, okay? So when this top piece fits on top of here, it should use that same edge and you should kind of be able to press on it. You don't want any of that cardboard to like fall in, okay? So I'm gonna put my strip of tape, again, 1/3 on, 2/3 off. Really secure it on there. I'm just gonna do the curved side for now. Okay. And I wanna cut those relief cuts again. Those are super important. And I'm only cutting those in the tape at this point, not in the cardboard. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna kind of shimmy it in there, making sure again to use that cardboard that's there so that I can press down on my tape and have it one second, let me get this really secured on there. Okay. And there we go, that's better. And now I'm going to fold that tape over. And now I'm going to do the same thing along this bottom edge. Extra tape. And I have a base that is strong enough to support, I mean, granted this dude's not very heavy, but it's ready to paint. So now you can go in and use some, whatever paint you got, really, and paint this. Try to tell the story of what's happening. So I wish I had my finished one here, but it's at school. So on here, you know, I might put Hawaiian design, I might put flowers on it, or I might put, you know, I might put lyrics to a song or a quote about ukuleles or something like that. Try to think outside the box. If you're doing something like football or soccer, don't just paint a football or soccer field. Think of how you can creatively show that. Maybe it's the logo of the team you play for, or maybe you paint it to look like a soccer ball with the black and white hexagons and what are they? Hexagons and pentagons. But have fun with it and be creative. So that's what I'm looking for, is that creativity, that storytelling. And once it is painted, you can hot glue your person to your sculpture, and you will have this lovely little Giacommeti inspired sculpture that you can work with. So I hope that you have fun with this. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. The sculptures that I've seen so far are really great, and I can't wait to see how you work in those props and that base, however you decide to do that. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help you. Have a great week.